Good evening. I love when it says go live. It's like, boom, put all the firecrackers up in the air. Yes, it's me. Bad hair day, so you know what? Put a wig on it. So, shalom. Hello, everybody. Let me put on my little hallelujah light. Ooh, my hair is white. I am dark. Hello. Well, the rain stopped here, that's for sure. I want to just tell some of the new people. New people. Oh, my goodness. New people. Thank you. If I don't write you a personal thank you or message you or something, that's just forgive me. But I acknowledge everybody and I try to. And if it's really personal, do the message. If it's a comment, which I love, please do it. For many of you, not many, I don't know how many, but my book, the other book is called Committed to Love. I started reading that April 3rd, and I stopped about a week ago because I'd finished it at Memorial Day. So Committed to Love is the readings I did about mine. It's a woman's journey through love and loss. So I documented my husband's illness. We went through everything, all of us. It was an incredible read. When God tells you to do it, do it. And now I'm in my hospice stories book because hospice came in and helped, and I felt like I had to give back. And so I volunteered at the care center. So these are stories. It's called, and I held their hands with a hospice heart. Stories of hope, faith, love, and loss. The companion book to mine. So go to the books icon page on my website, susanmintz.com, or the media page, and you can have a good time. Go to my YouTube channel. Nobody does, but I have to tell you anyway. But my main issue is all my readings are on my Facebook page, my previous readings, or they're on Susan Reed's Committed to Love, and they'll be all updated. But there's so much information on my website that you can't have a problem, really. So I'm in chapter 2 of my hospice stories book. And this is an amazing chapter because I think everyone has had something happen to them. As I said, I'm not going to go back and tell you the whole story because I want to finish it and I want to read why he ended up at the care center the way things were. But for those of you who do know it, anyway, I was at the care center doing my volunteer work on Monday night. And I was walking down the hall at my ice cart, and there's this big guy standing right outside this room. And all I know is I just said something to him about, oh, you're standing up. That's great around here, that type of thing. And then he said about his oxygen. One thing led to another and another and another. And before you know it, we just had a really great, hi, Jackie. We had a really great conversation going on. He was wonderful. But I'm going to read a paragraph before we start the new reading. But the thing is that he was so frustrated because he said literally that his coping mechanism was shot. He was given too much information too quickly. Have you had that happen when you've gotten a diagnosis? He was overloaded with test results and opinions, frustrated because a lot of the information he received was wrong. And until he got the right information, all he did was suffer. And then the guesswork and all the other, and then he was frustrated the most that he wasn't given the correct information until it was too late. Please don't tell me you don't know someone in your family or a friend who's had a misdiagnosis, who's had too much information given to them where they absolutely couldn't process it. And they were wrong. I mean, doctors are not God, though many times we think they are, they're not. Drugs are not meant to save you. They can help you. X-rays go bad. Technicians take bad. I mean, life happens. So this man and I struck up an incredible conversation. Big guy. I'm going to try to read this without my glasses. Seriously, because with the wig on and glasses, I don't want to have my hair fall off in the middle of this. So we struck up a conversation. I got him some coffee and this and that. So here's where we left off. Not yet, but this is the first paragraph before I left off. So he said he wanted to get back into bed. I asked him if he was tired and if I should leave. Quote, he said, no, he said, you're a good listener. End quote. Well, that's when I really laughed because the one thing I'm really not good is a listener. I'm a talker, except I'm getting better at listening. Especially if it's someone's got somebody to tell me. I mean, I'll talk if there's nothing to talk about, but I like to listen to people when they're telling me stuff. I don't care about the Weather Channel. I want to know about you. I really care about people. That's what I am. I'm a people person. So anyway, he continued. I'm 65 years old, and my wife and I still work. He said I wanted to come into the care center because my wife was not handling my illness well. I love her very much and would like to be at home, but I can't right now. I need some peace and quiet, and she won't give me that. She is angry with everyone, including myself. That's when I started to tear up. And she blames everybody for her illness, for my illness, end quote. Again, that strange, uneasy feeling came over me, and my mind went blank. Then my thoughts were back with you, Jeffrey. I remembered the times when I wasn't able to cope with your illness either, and took my anger and frustrations out on you and everyone else who cared about us. I know that there were times when my horrible attitude made your life more unbearable than it already was. I am sorry for not having been more understanding and tolerant, as I should have been. His voice interrupted my thoughts, startling me back to our conversation. He said, quote, "You understand what I'm talking about, don't you?" End quote. Then I said, quote, "All too well." That's why I'm good with these books, with hospice, where I'm good with people who are suffering from something, long-term illnesses, short-term illnesses, shock. I'm good with that stuff, because that is life. And at my age, that's what life's about, honey. You're going to take a couple of really serious shots, but you better get back up until you can't get up anymore. This man just was overloaded and he couldn't get back up anymore. So now we're going to continue. Here's his story. He continued, and you have to go back then to yesterday and you'll pick all this up, because I know I talk fast and for some of you I might be very confusing. But if you go back to chapter 2 from yesterday, you'll be all caught up with what I'm doing now. He continued, quote, "I've been a heavy cigarette smoker for many years," and this is a big guy. "I have diabetes and had several heart attacks. It's only because I am so damn big and strong that nothing could take me out," end quote. He chuckled at himself and said, quote, "About a year ago, I went to my doctor complaining of a severe back pain. After dozens of tests, x-rays, and consultations, the doctor determined that there wasn't anything wrong. I spent 2 months running to different hospitals, getting second and third opinions while nothing was showing up. I was angry because no one was giving me a straight answer. I had lots of information, but no diagnosis." I know a few people right now going through that, and I do. "The more the doctors tried to find the reason for my pain, the less I understood, and the worse I felt. The pain was excruciating. One night I woke up and couldn't breathe. I thought I was having another heart attack. My wife called 911. A chest x-ray determined that I had fluid in both lungs. I was operated on immediately and told that a lot of fluid had been removed from both lungs. My doctor said that this would alleviate my condition and discharged me. When I asked how something like this can happen, he could not be specific. I accepted his opinion and thought that my problems were over. A few weeks later, the same thing happened. I went to the hospital again. This time the x-rays revealed that a tumor had wrapped itself around my heart. The results of a biopsy indicated that I had cancer of the lungs with 5 different kinds of cells. Another specialist told me that 3 of the cancers didn't have any treatment, and the other 2 might respond to chemotherapy. I mean, can you imagine what this guy is going through? He's been suffering for a long time. He's getting all these diagnoses, and now he finds out what's going on from this one. The 2 might respond to chemotherapy. If the treatments were successful, I might have 6 months to a year to live. My wife and I were frantic. Why didn't someone else see this earlier? I felt like I had been deceived. I got very depressed, but decided to try the chemotherapy. I wanted to believe that the treatments would buy me some time. Halfway through my first chemotherapy treatment, I went into cardiac arrest. I mean, this guy is telling me all this, and I'm sitting there staring at him, saying, do you have any idea, to myself, how I'm going to write this up? This is the way I write, folks. I absorb all the information, and then I go put it in a journal, then I process what it is, and I try to put it in a book, in a story that's relatable. Halfway through his first chemotherapy treatment, he went into cardiac arrest. I was revived and told that the treatments would have to be stopped because of my heart condition. The doctor said I had 3 months or less to live. I had prepared myself for 6 months to a year. It took me so long to get a diagnosis and honest answers to my problems, and now I had to prepare for something else. I had even less time than I thought I had. My doctor said my only choice left was hospice. After that, he said that he was ready to go to sleep and asked me to come back and visit him. Oh, this is me now. That's the end of the quote. So he said his doctor finally told him that the only thing left that he could have and do was hospice. Thank God for hospice. They do not get enough credit for what they do and what they stand for, and I hope people know that hospice is there to give you the quality of life you deserve, and it can do, and you're going to have 24 stories of hospice in this book. After that, he said that he was ready to go to sleep and asked me to come back and visit him again. As I walked out of the door 2 hours later, 2 hours I was with him, he said, quote, wear another color turban next time. I like it. I told you I wore turbans a lot at the care center because many of the people I met had gone through all the chemo and lost the hair. And plus I liked it. I liked putting stuff all over the place, as you can tell. I said good night. I turned off his light and left. He went back home 3 days later, and I never saw him again. I couldn't stop thinking about the man who reminded me of the Norman Rockwell painting. He spoke candidly about his fears and the disappointments he'd experienced throughout his illness. Everything he said reminded me of you, Jeff, and the frustrations you faced as you dealt with similar situations. I told him about the times when no one knew if your medications or treatments would work, how overwhelming the feelings of disappointment were when procedures had to be changed or tests hadn't been accurately done. I understood how difficult it was when the facts and the statistics didn't tell us what we needed and wanted to know. I knew how frightening it was when things didn't turn out the way we had hoped. And just like this man, you had resolved yourself to the one and only thing you could accept. It was that many times your expectations, unfortunately and sadly, had to be changed. However, it was his feelings about honesty and truth that kept playing over and over again in my mind. They were the most important things he asked of each other and everyone else. He wanted honesty and he wanted truth. Those were the most important things he wanted. What I will remember most about this courageous man was that he wasn't angry or bitter now. He really didn't blame anyone for what happened. We agreed that there are some questions in life that didn't have any answers. You can only handle what you know, and having the honest facts can make handling the truth much easier to accept. I'll say so long for a little while. I love you, Susan. That's how I always ended these stories. So think about this wonderful man who I met. Never met him before. Knew nothing about him. But I was approachable, and so was he. I was able to talk to him about the issues I faced when Jeffrey was ill, about the disappointments, and there's a chapter in my book, Committed to Love, all about frustrations and setbacks and disappointments. And that's why, even to this day, when I meet somebody for the first time and I see or hear something in their voice, it tells me they've got a story. And I'll stop and I'll ask maybe that one question. And next thing you know it, an hour could go by, or two, and they're telling me their secrets, their troubles, their problems. And it's in a way that's not overwhelming. I'm not asking them questions that are personal that we can't talk about. It's an amazing interaction with people when they know the truth and they have the information and they've had the communication that's been correct. And I think for me in my life also with Jeffrey, with his illness, which was to me long-term, over 2 years, was that we were hoping that so much of the information was accurate. But in the early 90s, it wasn't. They didn't know, the doctors didn't know any more than I did. This man, this was happening years later that I met him in 1998, but I didn't maybe put it together for years. I didn't publish this book until, I think I said 2016 or 2017, 5 years ago. But I wrote as it was familiar to me, and then I put it together in the book. I wrote a lot, and then I condense it like soup, a lot of soup, and condense it. But when you are open in a setting where people are responding to you, they will tell you their story. This man didn't know me, but he wanted to talk, and I wanted to listen. He went through months of diagnoses that were wrong. He went through such anger with his wife who was angry about everything, and I could relate. I was where he was. I was where his wife was. So don't think you're alone in your battles. You're not. But I tell you to listen to my stories and listen to me even if I repeat myself or I'm someone that rambles on about something. I'm going to complete this book as I completed my book, the 24 chapters in my book. They will be completed, these stories, and you will know more than you ever thought you could imagine about people you've never met, but you are going to feel so into their lives. We're going to start on chapter 3 tomorrow. That's Sunday. I will start at 5:29. And please have your tissues ready. I appreciate all of you more than you know. You give me the support I need to continue, and that's a big part of it. I'm doing this because God told me to read my books, and I'm doing it because He told me. But to see one person there, do you know how rewarding it is to be reading to the world? I'm reading to the world about myself, about people, about what you might go through. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful because you're not alone. Nothing you've gone through makes you any different. You are who you are. Your choices are your choices, and you're worthy. You're worthy to have the best. Chapter 3, I just want you to hear this one. Chapter 3, their love, devotion, and maintaining a sense of humor gave them the strength to go on as two sisters lost both parents within 24 hours. All right, did you hear that one? Did you hear that one? Their love, devotion, and maintaining a sense of humor gave them the strength to go on as two sisters lost both parents within 24 hours. Remember I said chapter 1, just to let you know, this man was staying involved into the end as he sang Spanish hymns to his dying mother. Spanish hymns related to him. Said Jeff set the bedroom up with candlelight and Strauss music, and I stayed involved with Jeffrey to the day of his last breath. Chapter 2, this one. He finally had the truth about his illness, and now he could deal with the facts because he knew them. You can take control of your life, but you can't control it. I am going to say thank you. I hope you will be with me tomorrow night and every night, because these people are so incredible. And in my book, when I just said about the sense of humor, there's a chapter in here about a sense of humor. Everything in this hospice book will be the same issues as in mine because I was able to understand them. So, again, God bless you all. Eileen, thank you so much for watching. And the other people who I know are, but you don't, I don't know how to either bring you on or do it. I still don't. I'm afraid to touch anything because I know this is so good, and I'm afraid to do that. I'm afraid to even put my glasses on because I want to mess the wig up. Talk about reality. This is reality, okay? I'm not the Real Housewives of Boca Raton. No, I'm the real widow reading her book into the phone every night at 5:30 to the World Wide Web. Ah, I love it. So I will say shalom, hello, and shalom, goodbye, and shalom, peace. I'm always so peaceful after I've done this because I feel like I've done something good. I haven't left the house, but today was a good day because some of you heard about a wonderful man and his courageous battle and how he finally turned it on at the end to say, I had a choice. I had a hospice choice. Quality of life to the end of life. That's the hospice choice. Be kind. Be patient. I'm getting better. And call someone. Tell them you care. I've called half a dozen people today and told them I care. But I had to talk into the voice message machine. Chances are they won't even call me back. But that's okay. They know I care. And you know I care. And that's all that's important. But the most important thing is I know God knows I care. Shalom all. I love you. I'll hit finish. It was a colorful day though, wasn't it? You have to wear some color on a day that's bleak, girls. And men, wear colorful ties. Wear color. It'll make your whole attitude feel better. All right. Shalom. We start chapter 3 tomorrow night. God bless you all. Finish.